And what's going on, guys? Kale here, coming at you with another video. For those of you new to the channel, I am an endgame player with 3 accounts. Yes, that is 3, which probably makes me the maddest person in Marvel Strike Force. But this, just to, I guess, give a little background of those 3 accounts. One is 4 years, so I've got a 3-year account, and this is my baby account, which is just shy of about 2 years. This is an account update on day 669, if I'm not mistaken. So there we are there. So it's been roughly almost about 100 days since I last did an account update video. So I do apologize on the lack of that. If there's an interest in these videos, certainly can try to get back in the habit of doing these a little bit more regularly. Kind of, I think the 30-day mark is kind of a nice little gauge for the metric. Kind of starting us off in the traditional fashion, though. Looking at the TCP over here, we are at 11.4. Last time I did one of these videos, I was about 9.6 mil, so roughly in about the last, just a little over, let's see, that's just about a little over 3 months, we've jumped up just about 2 million TCP, some pretty solid progress, and just overall in general, it's kind of crazy to think where this account is versus where it started, and the fact that this account is actually almost 2 years old. Started this account basically as just needing an extra member for the alliance I was in at the time, and I put this character or this toon in just a random alliance and really just enjoyed the players I was playing with, and actually moved over my 2 other accounts over into that alliance, and just through the course of things am now actually running the alliance. So it's just been really crazy to see a really solid group of people just kind of play the game for just about 2 years together, and just kind of all the progress we've made. And just what progress this little baby account has made too. No longer is this just kind of a baby account. It's, an endgame account in its own regards. And so kind of going into what I'm working on. Mini is still also in the very unique situation of, since the account is only 2 years old, or not even 2 years, but getting close to that, a lot of the characters I focused on have been part of the newer meta, so the roster is definitely on the taller side now, but not very wide. And so I've been kind of working on expanding the wideness of the roster, and just kind of farming certain characters that are going to help with that. So big focus right now is obviously the upcoming Rogue Scourge event, so you'll see 2 Young Avenger characters up here that I'm farming their shards. And Surfer, farming him just because, oddly, almost for a sentimental reason, but he was actually the first 7 red star character that Mini pulled just from an orb. So working on getting him to 7 stars. Lady Deathstrike is being farmed just for her use in Dark Dimension 5, as well as even in her use in the tech section, and as part of the, arguably the strongest, war offense team. Agatha is up here, still need to take her to a level 85. It's just been resources have been kind of divested or placed elsewhere, so working on that as well. She eventually will be taken to 85. Loki is up here, just kind of using him to farm ISO 8s for controllers, and then Groot and Cable are here for the farming of legendaries. So Groot is for a 7 red, or not 7 red, but a 7-star Star-Lord, and Cable is here for a 7-star Dr. Octopus, and the significance to that is the Nowhere Heist event. So that's kind of what I'm working on farm-wise, and then also just for kind of completing the daily stuff, I am also farming 3 nodes of Yondu, because he is in Heroes 2 something. I think it's the last Heroes node. And then I'm also farming Karath in Villains 5, and that's just to basically take care of that 2 requirement. Next, we're going to tab on over to my Verse Battle favorites, and the purpose of this tab for me, I use this to kind of subdivide my Dark Dimension 5 planning as well as my Scourge planning now. So you'll see Young Avengers here, that is obviously for Scourge. You'll see A-Force up here as well, and that is pretty much for Scourge. The other characters I'm either, taking into Dark Dimension 5, or they're here for, like Star-Lord is up here for Nowhere Heist. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I've been more Scourge focused than DD5, just because Mini is currently semi-stalled in Dark Dimension 5, so that's been a little bit slower than I would like, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on in the video. But, so what I've been doing, since Mini did really not have any of the Young Avengers built up, is I've taken them all, or I've almost taken them all to level 75. So last is Echo and America Chavez, and once they are 75, Gear Tier 14, I'll then go back and take them to 85. But I figured 75 should at least be enough to unlock Rogue when her Scourge event does come. And I would probably roughly estimate, if I, were going to take a wild guess, I would say Rogue's Scourge event is probably going to start at the very earliest, probably by the end of the Ace of Raids event, which at time of recording this, I believe there's about 7 days left, and I would say maybe at the longest, maybe 14 days. So definitely I would start looking at planning your Scourge teams if you haven't already done so. On the DD5 front, I'm currently actually still in the unrestricted section and on the second node, and I mean, honestly, if we're going to talk about that real quick, part of the reason that I think I am stalled, I went in with the philosophy of taking in 5 city characters, and while I definitely would still go with that philosophy, I think the 5th city character I brought in is really hurting me, and on paper, he looked like a really good character, and it's just been, for lack of a better words, a shit show. And the character I'm talking about is Morbius. Definitely my first mistake on Mini. And, with the addition of some newer city characters, I definitely think there are better options. And the second mistake I made was actually Spider-Punk. And while Spider-Punk is really good inside of his team, he's not proving to be the best Dark Dimension 5 character. So really, if I could go back and do it over again, I would take in either OG Spider-Man or Spider-Man Miles. They just are better characters. And I'd say they're pretty equal. So what I would do is whoever you have higher red stars on is probably who I would have taken in. And then my actual 5th character that I think I would have taken in over Morbius is Squirrel Girl. And with her rework with Young Avengers, her cleanse, her heal, she's just proven to be like a really good character. And, I've seen some videos of her in Dark Dimension 5, and she's done really well. So there is a possibility, once I do get her to 85, I will take her into Dark Dimension 5 and just kind of work on getting out of the little bit of a rut I'm in, because I've been stuck on the same node now for, I think we're at like 20 plus days, where on Kale and Mini, or not Mini, we're on Mini, on Kale and Dracarys, I didn't have anywhere near this problem, so I definitely kind of attribute it to those 2 characters in particular. I'm trying to save off on kind of using any more Mystic gear than I need, as I will need a good bit for Cosmic and Global. So I'm trying to avoid kind of doing Cloak and Dagger, and I'm hoping basically I can just get a couple more of the Oz formulas, and I would take in either OG or Miles and then Squirrel Girl. And hopefully that'll kind of bump me up a little bit. But we'll see. Squirrel Girl, I will be taking to level 85 also for the Scourge. So if she is able to go right to G16, I think I'll do that and swap out Morbius and kind of see what happens there. But one thing I would definitely say is, with DD5, be flexible, and it's really about sometimes taking the right tunes versus sometimes the cheap tunes that don't really bring anything. And that's definitely kind of the trap I fell into with Morbius, is he was a cheap character, but he's really just not really bringing much to the table. Anyway, going into what I'm kind of purchasing these days in the supply store, not too much has changed. I did do a video on kind of hoarding and supply store stuff, and kind of the same philosophy kind of goes into that. So, I'm buying teal gear, orange gear. If it's under 100, I will be buying, or if it's a hero unique that's under 72. So when I talk hero uniques, I mean stuff like this. Blitz store, basically just farming war energy as I need it, and Shang-Chi. Raid store, not really farming any characters at this point, but I am farming catalysts that drop below 4k. Catalysts seem to be a big bottleneck on Kale, actually. Don't really seem to have that problem on Dracarys or on Mini, but I try to keep my catalysts above 4k, and then any, of these gold pieces that are under 1,000, I'll normally snatch up. In the arena store, I am currently farming Omega Red. I'm farming a Red Guardian over here, and that is for the training camp monthly event, which is back to boot camp. In the war store, farming Maria Hill as far as characters go. She's pretty close to 7 stars, so I'm hoping to have her at 7 stars for Omega Red's next pass through. And then again, I'm buying teal gear. If it's under kind of 100, I'll be buying it, or the teal uniques, hero uniques, I'll be buying those as well if they're under 18. Orange gear, not really buying so much in the war store, even though I do have quite a bit of extra war currency. It's just not necessary at the time being. Cosmic Crucible store, I do have quite a bit of silver Cosmic Crucible credits, I think is what these are called, kind of saved up, and that's just because I've been a little stalled out on leveling characters and actually taking characters to G16, just because I've been a little bit more Scourge focused. But what I am doing is, when I do see these mini uniques that are under 100, I'll buy them, and these are definitely the rarer of the teal pieces. So you can only get these in the War Store and the G16 Orb. And you'll know they're the rarer ones because they're $29.25. With the kind of more standard ones that you can actually find in the Teal Raid Orb, if they're under 100, again, I'll buy them, but for the most part, I haven't had an issue with that. On Kale, however, and Dracarys, since they're actually a little bit further along in Dark Dimension 5, I'm having bottlenecks with kind of all these pieces, and I imagine Mini will be there pretty shortly. In the Elite Store, I did just buy 5 red on Spider-Punk, and that kind of wiped out some of my silver credits, just to, not that Mini really has a problem in Bio Raid for Doom, but once in a blue moon, I'll kind of run into some issues, and now that Raid Sim is available, some more red stars on Spider-Punk I think will help him. And maybe I thought, maybe this will even help me out a little bit more in Dark Dimension 5, and so we'll see on that end. Going into the orbs, kind of still going through that hoarding philosophy. So I'm saving premium orbs, hoping Agatha will come. Red stars, I try to keep up to about 30, and then when they are doing the, multiplier for the dark promos, that's when I'll try to open these, and then I will use the Elite 4s, Elite 5s, to try to get the featured characters when they're there. So I'm slowly building back up to 30. Basic orbs, same thing, holding out for Agatha. Gold orbs, I'm in a pretty good position gold-wise, so I'm trying to save these up a little bit, especially since I know the gold to take characters to level 90 is probably going to be quite expensive, so I'm trying to save up as much gold orbs as I can, and really only opening them as needed. Legacy 3, 2, and 1 orbs, I open those as I get them. Same thing with training orbs. Same thing with these ability orbs, I open them as I get them. I don't really have any T2 or T3 bottlenecks. So no real issues there. Mega Orbs, again, kind of a similar thing. I am waiting for Agatha to pop up in the Mega Orbs and basically all the orbs. And, as new characters get added, I might, change my philosophy. One's probably Mighty Thor, Valkyrie, and probably the Unlimited X-Men. Once they start popping up in these stores, I might start opening some of these orbs up. Milestone 2 orbs, I just open these basically, as I get them. Not really hoarding those for any particular reason. And then, same thing. I'll open 15, 16, and 14 orbs as I get them. In the Blitz store, I will open up a set of 10, basically once I get to at least 10k, and when that happens, I'm basically just looking to farm Silver Samurai. In the Raid Orbs, I finally actually depleted, the couple, I think I had either a couple hundred or even 1,000 of these blue orbs, and I actually ran into a point where I was actually a little short on blue gear for Mini, so it was kind of good to just farm it this way versus using campaign energy. And ever since I basically opened that large chunk of orbs, I've just been trying to keep the number down just to be one less red notification OCD thing to bother me. I have not done that, however, with the purple. I just don't have the patience to open up, almost 1,900 orbs. If I do run into a situation where I'm short on purple gear, that's certainly something I could consider. Orange gear and the Orange Elite, I basically open them as I get them. In a weird superstitious tinfoil hat type thing, I normally open them when I get them to 10, and there's really no rhyme or reason, but I just do that. Teal Orbs, again, same thing. I just open these as I get them. With Doom 2, basically average about 3 a day, and every couple of days it'll equate to 4. And then these Gambit Orbs, I'm opening them basically just as I get them. And these I've been opening one at a time. Again, tinfoil hat reasons. Occasionally you'll get a Mega Orb, and your 3 lovely Gambit shards. So really not too much Gambit-wise. Arena Orb, garbage, don't bother opening it. War Orbs, I did want to talk about a little bit. Kind of in the past, people have been hoarding these, hoping for a Teal War Orb. I don't think that's ever going to be the case now that we have the Cosmic Crucible store. So I would say open these if you need them to, and basically when you're looking at them, this orb over here is basically going to be more for your kind of G13s, and I actually don't know if this has G14s in it. Let's see. Let's see our center pillar. Yeah, so this is G14 stuff basically. So what I would say is if you're running into a G14 bottleneck, this is definitely the orb to start opening. If you are in a G15 bottleneck, this is the orb to be opening. And Mini does not have a bottleneck for either of those at the moment, so I've basically been holding off on opening these. And on Kale and Dracarys, I basically have no Elite War credits because I ran into a little bit of a Mystic Gear crunch, and for whatever reason, Mini did not have that problem. So if I do run into a situation where I'm I need to farm G14s or G15s, I would open up some of these orbs. Cosmic Crucible store, definitely this Teal Orb is the way to go. No questions. The pieces you get for this is your best bang for your buck. And in the ISO 8 orbs, I open these as I basically get them. No real hoarding or saving going on with those. But I do basically kind of hoard the blue ISO 8 orbs. And I basically only open these as I need them. And so that's why I have this large excess kind of built up. Last store is the Ultimus store. And basically with these Ultimus Orbs, I have been saving them a little bit. I just did kind of a little bit of an orb opening. I had 40 of these orbs saved up, and so basically just trying to farm some unfarmable characters. And for the most part, again, I'm saving for the Agathas and, eventually the Unlimited X-Men that'll be coming to the game in this orb. So that's kind of what I'm doing there. It's not opening these doesn't hurt progress, so I don't mind holding on to them. Last little thing I guess to talk about is how I'm spending gold, and typically what I'm doing, I'm spending 1 million gold on one of my verse battle characters, and in this case I am Scourge prepping. So basically I'll spend 1 million gold on one of my Scourge characters, in this case Young Avengers. And in this like super particular case, we are currently working on Echo, and so I spend 1 million gold, I take her up to whatever gear level that equates to whatever level she's at. And then what I'm doing, just to kind of, I guess, start kind of, I guess, completing some characters, is I'll then basically go down my roster, and the first character that can do a star rank up, I'll do. And that's kind of what I've been doing, to basically kind of work on Mini's completion, start taking characters to 7 stars. It's helped me to unlock some additional legendary characters and whatnot. So, yeah, so that's kind of where that is. Last little bit, I guess, of news, looking at where I am, we already talked about kind of that Mini is stalled out in Dark Dimension, but just to kind of show where I am still chilling out on Node 2 over here, and we are on attack number 23, so we've, almost done essentially a month's worth of attacks on this node, and we're a little bit under / right around the halfway mark. So hopefully, with the increased red star to Spider-Punk, we can maybe start doing a little bit more damage, and hopefully maybe getting Squirrel Girl in here will make a little bit of a difference. But yeah, that is going to be account update day 669. So hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you want to kind of keep seeing these videos be made, please let me know either down in the comments or on Discord. And if there's any videos you'd like to see made, always happy to make that content. Just gotta let me know. So again, you can leave that down in the comments or let me know on Discord. If you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you are having a good week. Take it easy, and I'll see you next time.